Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Plant a Garden TV. What's going on today? All right, guys, like you know, today it's about question. Let's have a garden talk today. And let's go into question. So today will be question and answer. So if anyone want to ask a question, feel free to ask a question. Hey, John Stuart, how you doing? Thank you for being here. What's going on? Yes, thank you for being here. Yes, so anyone who have any question today is a good day to ask because we in the heart of garden season and let's make it happen. All right, all right. All right, John Stewart, how are you doing, John Stewart? How your garden going, John Stewart? What's going on? How everything going with your garden? Please let me know. I will appreciate it. Yes. Well, this is garden season, and this year many people say it was very challenging, and yes, it is. It sure is challenging. The weather been acting up according to some people. But guess what, guys? Even though the weather is acting up, I'm still planting. I'm still doing my thing, and I hope you are too. Don't make this weather discourage you at all. I have a few challenges, my tomatoes. Okay, what's going on with your tomatoes? Do you want to, if you want to come up on stage, I'll let you up, and maybe Ayura is either. But if you want to come up that you could explain more about what's going on with the tomatoes, that's fine. Or I will drop the link and maybe you could explain a little more. All right. So I'm gonna drop the link. If you want to come up, you can. That's if you want to come up. No pressure. All right. You can come up and maybe you could explain a little more of what's exactly going on with your tomatoes. And all right, so if you feel like coming up, you could always come up and explain what is going on with your tomatoes. All right. But anyhow, guys, this garden season is awesome. The weather is, but at the same time, like I was saying, I'm actually growing. This year, I've tried to grow different type of squash. I'm basically trying to grow food that could actually last instead I got to use them in the refrigerator. I can store them. Hey, Texas Lala, how you doing? Thank you for being here, sis. All right, John Shoot, how you doing?
I'm
What's
doing great,
going
Planter.
on?
I'm doing great, Planter. How are you doing?
Wait, I'm not hearing you. Hold
You're
on.
not hearing me? Let me check my mic. Mike's
Give me
mic.
1 second. I'm not hearing you. Hold on. 1 second. All right, give me 1 second, John Street. Oh, you can hear her, but I'm not. Okay, give me 1 second. Maybe let me plug up this speaker. All right, give
Okay.
me 1 second.
Hey, Texas Lala, how are you doing? Greetings from Mississippi. Can you still hear me?
Now I'm hearing you. All right,
Okay,
I can
good,
hear you
good,
now.
good, good,
Okay.
good, good. I'm great. Um, Planter, my I don't know. I have a question. I've heard this, but I don't know if it's true. Is it true that you should keep your different types of tomatoes planted separately because of the cross pollination?
Well, a lot of people do talk about the cross pollination, and some people don't want to get cross pollination. But you see, the thing about it is, when you talk about cross pollination, even though you have them separate in the garden, the wind still can blow them. You
Yeah,
see what I'm saying? The wind can,
right.
you might have them to the top, and you might have another set to another area, but the wind still can blow the pollination, the pollen, and still cause cross pollination. But
Because the reason why I ask is because I have a Roma tomato and a beefsteak tomato plant in the same 30-gallon grow bag. They're growing fabulously. They're falling all over the place, trying to constantly keep them propped up. But it seems like beefsteak tomatoes are supposed to be big. They're
mhm.
not getting that big. And so I'm wondering if that had some could affect the size, or I know they're not crowded in the pot. They have plenty of growing space, but because I know they're not, because they're so huge, they're about 5, 6 feet tall. So, but
Okay.
they're just kind of falling over, and I'm getting tomatoes, but the size of my beefsteaks I'm concerned about because they're kind of small.
Mm. Well, I don't think it have anything to do with the cross pollination. Sometimes, sometimes when you have them into a container,
Yes,
okay,
yes,
you
grow
have them in
bags,
grow
grow
bags and
bags. Hmm.
container.
Hmm.
Sometimes it can, let me see, it could be due lack of space. Okay, so she said have a lot of space,
Okay.
right? So since you have space, sometimes it could be the soil. It could definitely be the soil
Okay.
sometimes.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Yeah, well, that's fine. And I have in a 100-gallon grow bag, I have I have two um cantaloupe plants, and they are everywhere. I have
Mm,
about 8 or 9 cantaloupes growing on the vine. So my concern is, because of the lateness of the season, I had one to kind of just fall off the branch, but it looked like it was absolutely not sweet, probably because it came off too early. So I'm just going to wait for the others to see if they turn out to be pretty sweet. But I have a lot of cantaloupes growing just off those two plants.
oh, really? Okay, that's good. That's wonderful. So you said the one that fall off, it ain't that sweet.
Yeah, the one that came off, it was starting to ripen. It wasn't, it had a little bit of green on it. I'd say maybe like 30% green, and the rest of it had turned the golden color that, they say they're supposed to turn.
Hmm.
When I cut it and tasted it, it was not any kind of sweet to me. And I'm hoping it's not it's a honey rock cantaloupe. That's what it is. It's a honey rock cantaloupe. So I'm hoping it's not the brand of cantaloupes that I planted.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, you know what? You will just gotta wait until the rest of them get to the ripe stage, and then you could taste. Then you will have a better understanding of what's really going on. Okay. Hey, Fifi John, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Hey, RG Living Life. Thank you for being here. What's going on?
Hey, everybody.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes. So, what I will say with the cantaloupe right now, I think you just have to wait it out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after you wait it out, it's gonna give you a way more understanding if that's the product or and sometimes, you know what? Let me tell you what I try sometimes. This is why I try to grow certain thing in different areas because I might plant the same plant in two different area and slightly the taste is slightly different. So
Oh, okay.
sometimes it could also be the soil that it's in. It could also be the way you grow them. But you cannot pass no judgment right now until you taste the others that's come to the stage of ripe.
Yeah. 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 I have what is it? I have some turnip plants in a elevated garden bed. The
Mm-hmm.
leaves are like this big. They're really big. So what I've been slowly doing is just cutting off leaves and storing them and letting it continue to grow. My concern is this heat. Our heat index goes up to like 114, 115 degrees. My tomatoes are growing, but the leaves look awful. So that's probably just the heat. The only thing, and even my and what I did was I used to water early in the morning, but I found out it looked like my plants were being fried even at that early because it gets so hot so fast. So when I switched up to watering around 7:30 in the evening, it's doing much better. So I literally had to change the way I water in order to keep my plants alive because I lost a couple before I figured it out. So for those who believe in watering in the morning, if you have excessive heat and you're having problems, you might need to switch how you water. I think you're muted.
So sorry for that. That's awesome and that's wonderful. This is what's gardening about. Your experiment. You see what I'm saying? You see what you did? You was doing it in the morning, and because you realize something ain't going right, you switch it to the evening. Now you're getting better result. So that's what you do. You do it in the evening because, like you say, the sun is so hot and
Mhm.
morning during the day is definitely better for you to give it. Oh, that's wonderful. And what I want to talk to you about your tomato, clip off those dry leaves. You're supposed to prune your tomato. All these dry leaves, you clip them and get rid of them because they're just sucking from the plant.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Clip all of them, yes.
I know I need to do that. I know I cut a few of the suckers off at the bottom because they were just browning and just burning off. So I kind of cut a lot from the bottom. So I'll have to do the top. I've just been having a battle with this one spider who keeps making this gigantic web from the tomato plant to the tree. Because, like I said, I have these trees in my backyard, which I think helps my garden because I'm not getting 8 to 10 hours of nothing but sun. After about
Mm.
4:30, 5 o'clock, my entire yard is in the shade. So my plants are being shaded. I mean, they're growing fine, but I just have to battle. For some reason, spiders think tomatoes are the best thing in the world to make webs off of. So I every few days or so I look out there and this same doggone spider, and I can't find him, but I have to keep getting rid of the spider webs.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, the spider. I mean, if it ain't harmful, spider is okay. Because some spider is very harmful. Very, if they bite you, could be dangerous. So just be careful. Don't make it bite you. Because you don't know which one it is. But they also get rid of a lot of insect from in your garden as well.
Yeah,
They also, they
yeah,
also catch them and eat them because that's how they survive.
yeah,
It's a way of nature.
yeah.
But don't make it bite you because you don't know what kind of spider it
You're
is.
right. One more question.
Mm.
Do you grow okra?
Oh, yes, I love okra. That's one of my favorite plants.
Okay, here's my question. Like I said, I'm a first year gardener, so I need to
Mm.
know
Right.
how long should you let your okra be before you pull it?
You,
because I've been told I let mine get too long. So
all you need is a couple days, 2 3 days, and you pull them. Because
okay,
if you allow them to go too far, they get hard, and basically it's like you got to leave them for seed.
okay,
So
yeah,
from the time you see they push out 2 3 days, grab them. Because if you don't, they're gonna start getting hard. And
okay,
and how you know it's gone far is when you break the top of the okra. If it pop right off, that's good. If you pop it and it's not coming off, you know it's gone. It's basically going for seed.
okay,
So test them by popping the top. Once it pop right off, it's in good shape. If it's not popping, it's getting too old.
okay. Thank you so much for that.
You're
And
welcome.
and I'm hoping I'm asking some questions other people might need to ask.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Oh, hey, Black Guns and Garden. Hey, Good Eat Homestead. How you guys doing? Thank you guys for being here.
Hello,
All right.
everybody.
Okay, Fifi say, I cut off the excess sun leaf and suckers. I sometimes clip the top of the plant off, but it depends on what I have growing as
Okay,
far as the weather. More time is growing season. Okay.
okay.
Hey, Psalms 146, how you doing? Yes. So for a first time gardener with Jones shoot, you're doing pretty good. And you know what? You asking question that's gonna make you better. Don't ever scared to ask question in gardening, because for the next year you're gonna need all, you're gonna prepare you for the following year. This is basically just a learning process for you. But I'm sure by next year you're gonna be way advanced than you are this year.
Okay, let me ask you this. At the end of this growing season, um, like I said, there are three huge trees in my yard. In the fall, since I'm using grow bags, do I need to empty that dirt out, or can I just like put the cuttings, the grass cuttings and leaves on top of the grow bags and just let them mulch over during the fall winter season so it can what is the word, enrich the soil? Can I
Yes,
do it that way?
definitely. Yes, definitely. And in the fall is the best time to start preparing your grow bags and your containers, the best time. So yes, add some grass clippings, what mulch, and just leave it on top of the. If you want, you could even add a little soil on top of it,
Okay.
and just leave it there right through the winter into the next spring. And when spring come, planting season, you just plant.
Yeah,
But
because leaves and pine needles I have an abundance of in the fall because of the trees. I mean, if you walk through the yard, you'd be kicking up leaves. I wish I could ship them to some people who need leaves, but those I have plenty. So at least I know now I have my yard is full of gold for
mm,
my garden. So that's a good thing.
you know what? What I'm gonna tell you about the pine needle. Pine needle, it break down, but it take pretty long. So what you're gonna do, my recommendation is adding a few into all your container and your raised bed. Because while what I've learned from my experience, pine needle, while they're breaking down, they keep adding nutrients to your soil. So even though it didn't break down, it's still adding nutrients to your soil while it's breaking down. So make my what I will say, add a few inside each of your bags, and also some leaf. And then if you could add a little soil on top of it and just leave it, just run through the winter. By the spring, you will have some beautiful soil awaiting you.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that.
No problem. But I'm sure by next year you will be twice time knowledgeable in gardening as you are today by the end of next year, because the thing is wanting to learn, willing to ask question, and it's gonna take you there.
And that's good. I also have two watermelon plants.
Hmm.
I think one is a sugar baby and the other one is a Carolina cross. Uh, is there anything special I need to do to those plants to get a good yield on my watermelon?
The most I do with my watermelon, I don't do too much. The most I do is give them some good compost. That's the most I do to watermelon and pumpkin. When I see they start producing flowers, you see, after I see they start pushing out flowers, I give them a nice compost around them. You know what I mean? So that compost will help push them through. You know, like a woman pregnant and she need vitamins, she need to carry that baby through. That 9 months is the same with the plant. So once you see the flowers, you make sure you give them a little compost. So now the compost will push them through. That's what I do.
So if the leaves are turning slightly yellow, is that a signal I need to add some nutrients to the soil?
Maybe, or could be the weather. But what I will say, from my experience, is give once you see flowers, give them a little compost. Okay? And some of them green leaf, the yellow leaf you see drying, I will clip them off.
Okay.
Because sometimes these suck from the plant and you really don't need these leaves.
Okay.
So clip the dry leaf and give them a nice compost and just let them do their thing.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Hey,
Well,
Bridget Pepper, how you doing? Thank you for being here.
well, I'm going to leave and let others ask questions because I gotta catch a train. So,
Okay, all
but
right,
thank
all
you
right.
so much. I appreciate it.
All right, thank
All
you
right.
for coming up. No
All right.
problem.
You take
All
care.
right, okay.
Yeah, let's see. Okay.
All right. I'm in the bush. All right, Buji, that's cool. Okay, so I'm gonna drop the link again. If anyone today's question gardening talk, question and answer. So if anyone have any question and you don't feel like typing and you want to come up, you can come up and ask any question about gardening. I will answer to the best of my ability. All right. So the link is in the chat. If anyone want to come up and ask you a question about gardening, you could always do that. But yes, we're in the heart of gardening right now. We in the heart of gardening. And this is garden season. All right. Thank you, Fifi. I appreciate that. We in the heart of garden season. And right now we in July. And before you blink, the fall gonna be upon our back. And when the fall come upon our back, it's like the weather start changing. So if you decide to grow anything from now on, make sure you know what you're growing. Make sure it's stuff that can deal with weather, cold weather. Make sure it's short crop. Plants that produce in 45 days, because you don't want to plant anything and it ain't produced before the frost. So pay attention to the date, how much days these plants take to produce. So once you get that covered, then you could start planting. Beans is an amazing thing to start growing right now. Even some squash, you can put in the earth right now because we're in August, we're in July, August, September. That's 60 days. So basically, you can grow some squash because some squash take 45 days. So pay attention to these things because the weather is getting closer and closer. We're going to be hitting the fall. And you know, after the fall, that frost, how deadly it could be. So if you planted cabbage, if you planted collard greens, if you planted these crops that can deal with the weather, you okay. But peppers, I wouldn't waste my time planting peppers today. I think it's too late. So look into the plants that can give you crops before your frost, because you don't want to plant and then you're able to harvest from them. This is important. Look at the days of how much, look at the plant and how much days it takes for them for you to harvest. Then you have an understanding, should I plant this or should I not? I forget to ask, what can I plant late in this season? Well, you could plant broccoli, you could plant cabbage, you could plant celery, you could plant garlic, you can plant cauliflower, you can plant onion, it's a lot lettuce, because most of these plants love rather the colder weather than the heat. If you notice, sometimes in the spring, you have a plant doing so well, and then when the summer hit, the plant just slow down. Most of these plants does better in the spring and the fall, and even the winter. So this is why it's so important to know these plants that you're growing. Pay attention to them so you know which season they prefer. You don't want to plant something in the winter when you know they rather the summer, like pepper, okra. You don't want to plant them in the winter. You want to plant them in the summer because that's when they do their best. And about gardening, when I think about gardening, I'm looking for the most out of my plant. Not just to plant, I'm looking for the most out of them. Yes, I said some more summer squash seed last week. Yes, you still could do squash. Once, just look at the date because this is important. Look at the date and see how much days they take. And you can able to get a nice, decent harvest within that time. Hello, LP, how you doing? And what are my experience, right? My experience with squash. For my experience for planting squash over the years, squash is something, if you really know how to deal with squash, squash will continue produce. You see what I'm saying? They will continue produce. Sometimes squash run. The vines, while you keep clipping off the dead leaf, it keep running. And while it keep running, just like if it's a vines, I'm not talking about the butternut squash and the one that's run. I'm talking about the one that stands up like a zucchini. That's the one. Once you keep clipping them, they will find themselves running and just keep producing. But it's important. when you see flowers, you're supposed to add compost. And when I say compost, I'm talking about compost that already break down. I'm not talking about compost with wood chip inside of there that actually still need breaking down. I'm talking about compost that actually break down and ready to feed the plants. That's what I'm talking about. And organic compost as well. But you know, when I look back, right? When I look back at certain things, the way that I garden, the way I garden is way different than a lot of people gardening. And I just want to say, guys, I know many people is just beginning gardening. This might be your first year, it might be your second year, it might be your third year. So, but don't limit yourself. Not because it's your first year or your second year. Don't limit yourself to knowledge and information about gardening. I will always say there's a lot of information on out here on gardening. There's a lot of information. And you got to place yourself where, first thing, guys, especially for the new gardeners, first thing, you want to know what type of gardening you want to do. Because you cannot mix it up because it's too much information. And sometimes too much information put you on hold. So you figure out what type of gardening you want to do. Are you an organic gardener or you don't mind using, you got to decide. And then you got to try soaking the information from the type of gardening you're doing. Because there's so much information you might get. And the honest truth is, if someone is introducing you to a product out there that's on the market, they got to show you some proof of where this thing is doing. Someone tried to introduce me to a product, even though I tell them I'm not interested. And when I ask them, so what this product do? Show what this product do to to the plants, what it do to the soil. They cannot give you no information about these products. So you got to be careful too. If you notice with me, I do not recommend anything that I don't know about. I don't know about these fertilizers they sell out there. You never hear me talk about them because I don't know anything about them. I could only talk about the stuff I use with full proof. You know what I'm saying? So just be careful and pay attention to yourself and know what type of gardening you want to do. Because it's important. And have an open mind. Have an open mind. You cannot shut yourself to information when come on gardening. And I'm not just saying you got to just listen to people. I'm just saying when you gather information, you apply the information. You apply them and see how it works for you. We all garden in our own different ways, and I'm not knocking how anyone garden because we all do garden in our own ways. But I enjoy the way I do my gardening. It's more physical work, yes, it's more physical work. But with the physical work, it made me learn more. It made me understand more because I'm doing the work physically and I'm seeing what I'm doing. Sometimes we try to get the easy way out. You know, which I mean, people do that. And the easy way out is using certain things to make your plants grow faster. Even though you know they they might even be right for the plant. But we use them because we want the plants grow faster. Then we use certain things to keep, spray the weeds them that grow up in our garden. Yes, that's trying to eliminate the work. So it make it easier for you. I understand. But at the end of the day, you got to look out at the benefit. Which one more beneficial? Which one gonna make me get more vitamins, more mineral, more nutrients? Which method gonna give me this? Yes, it might be a little hard because it is. To maintain the weed inside your garden is pretty challenging because sometimes you now clean up this side, you go over and clean. By the time you look back over here, full of weed again. So yes, it's challenging. So we all garden in different ways. Okay? But I just want to say, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself and believe that you cannot do the necessary to get what you want. Don't do that to yourself. You can get it. So for the new gardeners, I understand. And for the people, the next thing again, for the people, because not everyone have the big space. Not everyone have the big space. Some people have pretty small place space. And you know what? I just want to say I'm proud of you guys with that small space. Some people growing on the balcony. Some people growing in like a container. People trying. I'm proud of you guys for doing that. And if you have small space, I know my way of gardening might be challenging for you. I understand that. I understand that because you don't have the space, and then sometimes you might want to put some leaf in a little corner. You mightn't have the space for that. I truly understand, but at least you're trying. You still trying, and that's what counts. Not the space you have. You still trying, even though the space is small. So the way I garden is different. But what I want to say to you is, even though your space is small, if you want to garden the way I garden, you still can do it, but just on a smaller scale. You see? Just on a smaller scale. Now, leaf fall every year. You could scrape up a few leaf, maybe put them in a little area and just cover them up. It ain't got to be a big pile. It could be just a little area and just leave it there. Them leaf will come, break down, and able to feed your soil. So instead of you got to run and go and buy, no, you run to the pile. So this is how you save in money. Now, as a new gardener, you now start your garden and you spend $1,000, right? Your first, I'm just saying, I don't want nobody to spend $1,000, and I will encourage you not to spend $1,000. But no, if you spend, yes, I said some more summer. Sorry, guys. If you spend, right? If you spend $1,000 in your garden this year, yes, I agree with that, Fifi. If you spend $1,000 in your garden this year. I'm just saying. I'm hoping you guys not doing that. But say you spend $1,000 this year in gardening, and next year come, you should break that down. You shouldn't be spending $1,000 again. This is why open yourself to learning, to learn, and look at people who not trying to spend any money in the garden and learn from them. See the things they use, look at their result, because result is very important to me. If you're telling me about something, I need to see the result. That's why I try to show so much result within the way I go. But no, if you spend $1,500 in your garden this year, the following year, you're supposed to chop that down. You're not supposed to go back and spend $1,000 again in your garden. You should chop that down to maybe 300. I'm just saying. A fraction. Because within that time, you're supposed to learn a few tricks. You're supposed to learn how to save seeds, which is one, guys, don't save your seed. I'm telling you, save your seed. You should learn how to save seed. You should learn how to build your own little compost pile. That whether you're doing container garden or what, you should be able to accumulate a little leaf and chuck them in an area and leave them to break down, that this same leaf could come and feed your plants the following year. You're not supposed to be spending this type of money in a garden. So my goal, not because I might do in gardening on a bigger level, a more wider scale than the small space gardener. That does not mean you cannot do organic. You can do it the same way I do it, just on a smaller scale. Because I also do container garden. I do container garden as well, not just raised bed. So on a smaller scale, you could still do it. You could still save your little leaf. You could still add to your containers in the fall. You add a few leaf. If you have pine straw, just add a few inside of it, not loading it up with pine straw. Just a few. Because these pine straw add nutrients in your soil. Whatever leaf you have, add a few in the container, leave it right there until the spring. Container garden is it's a technical way of gardening. It's a pretty technical way of gardening, and you have to understand a lot of things in container garden, right? Because container garden, you're growing in a container, not in the ground. You're growing in a container. And the sun, especially when it's hot, when the sun penetrates in that container, it penetrates the whole container, right or wrong. You see what I'm saying? So now you got to make sure that you add, and let me tell you, there's a way of wetting container garden. There's a way. And I'm gonna do a video with this. How you wet these plants, because you gotta watch how you wet these plants. Some people just say, oh, you ain't trained enough water. No, don't worry about that, because the more water you throw into the container, it keep washing out the nutrients out of the container. This is why sometimes when you look at your soil in the container and you do this, it's like sand, because you're washing out the nutrients out of the container. So that's a way of maintaining your soil in containers. In the fall, add some leaf in and just leave it there. That will help maintain the soil for the spring. Sometimes, what a lot of people do sometimes, they take out half or quarter of that soil out of the container and add a few leaves. Like I do that. I take out some and I add a few leaves inside it and cover it back with some sand and just leave it there. So now that leaf gonna be, letting off the nutrients and in that soil. So within the spring, the soil gain back the nutrient that it lose during the last year, because remember you was growing, so that plant was sucking the nutrients out of that container. So now you got to make sure that nutrients add back, the minerals add back in that container, so that the plants can suck for the plants can suck for the new garden season. So it's a lot of information. I really don't want to go too much because sometimes too much information, some does just slip away. But I'm going to put the link in the chat if anyone want to ask anything about gardening, any question, because today is question and answer. If you feel like asking question, you could come up and you could ask a question. Or you could put it in the chat. Hey, Sissy, Texas Garden, how you doing? Thank you for being here. This is garden season, guys. This is garden season. And yes, this is gardening season. And I want to see everybody gardening doing pretty well. So any mistake you made this year, you should be able to fix them next year. If you grow a certain plant in an area and you see they didn't do well, switch the area, plant them in another area. And sometimes if you're doing container garden and the location where you have the plants and you see they're not doing well, switch them in a different area. Because sometimes the location plays a big role in your garden. And simple, so in your garden, just like how you will say, oh, the zone in different places, the zone is the same thing in your garden. You could find the same kind of situation going on right in your garden. So switch them around sometimes. It's not always water and fertilizer they need. Sometimes they need a little shifting in other direction. All right. So does anyone have any question this evening about gardening? Is anyone have any question about gardening this evening? If you do, please feel free to ask. All right. Yes. Okay, let me see. Not gardening, but how is your outdoor kitchen going? Well, it's going amazing. I will be uploading a few videos just now, very soon, about how it's going. It's going wonderful at this time. It's going wonderful. I just can't wait to show you guys the finishing of how everything turned out. I mean, to able to build an outdoor kitchen from just old bricks and clay, it's awesome. Thank you for asking, Sissy Texas Garden, but you'll see some upload pretty soon. All right? What have people used against aspid and had success? Aspid. What is I'm not familiar with that. Aspid and had success. Could you give me a different word for that? Because I'm not familiar with that against aspid and had success. Okay. I think I have understand what you mean. What you mean like the okay, all right, Fifi right pest. Okay, right. I have I've been using I use this remedy and many people has used it as well and it worked pretty well, which is vinegar and water. My the thing is, and this worked beautiful. The thing is, you cannot mix it too strong. That's the thing. You cannot mix it too strong. You got to make sure you mix it. My measurement is a cup of vinegar to a gallon of water. Don't go up, don't go too strong because it could burn down your plant. But it really works. It really works. Vinegar and water really works. And guys, if you're trying vinegar and water, please try it on one plant before you spread on all your plants. One plant, make sure it ain't born in your plants before you start spraying. So vinegar and water works miracle in your garden. And that's truth right there. All right? Okay. I don't have question, but I wanted to say that I use chicken compost. So let's break down for 6 to 9 months and remove some of the old soil. Add chicken compost spring for container garden. All right. Yes, LP some vinegar and water will be wonderful. But like I said, please do not mix it too strong because it will definitely burn down your plants. So mix it, and spray on one plant and see how it works, okay? Because I know you don't want to burn down your plants. So make sure, all right? Don't mix it too strong, but it works. And you can use it in the height of the day when the sun is hot. Okay, so Fifi said, oh, use it in the heat. Okay, I guess she had some experience from that. You're welcome. You're welcome. This year we started summer with a drought, and the bugs have been crazy. Aspid on everything. Oh wow. Wow. Well, vinegar and water. But please do not make it too strong, okay? Please do not do that. And test it on one plant. But I know for a fact it works. My grandmother used to use it, and guess what? There's a year I stay away like 3 weeks from my garden. And when I stay away 3 weeks, when I come back, the bugs almost take over all my edibles, cabbage, broccoli, everything. And I went to that vinegar and water. And that vinegar and water had saved. And I ended up having some big head of cabbage. If it wasn't for the vinegar and water, I was going to lose everything. So I know for a fact it works. I know that. Mm. 1 cup to a gallon, right? 1 cup of water to a gallon. 1 cup of vinegar to a gallon of water. All right? Planter, are you garden worm snake? Listen to me. Listen to me. All I do, they get it bigger and bigger and bigger. All I do every year is like they're getting fatter and bigger. When I'm digging my soil, I just got to be so skeptical and careful because sometimes while you're digging, you seeing them, and sometimes you might dig off a piece of one. So I just try my best to save them because I know they're important. Yes, but they get bigger and bigger. And you know what make earthworms grow that well? Organic matter. They love organic matter, which is the same dry leaf and the same, weeds from in your garden. They love these things. They also love the body of the trees. When it starts to decompose, yeah. Yeah, it works all, especially on brassica. Yes. Even on peppers, sometimes on your pepper tree, there might be stuff eating up the leaf of your pepper. You could also use it and to spray the leaf as well. But one thing I'll recommend, create an environment for the birds to enter your garden. If you could get birds in your garden, you really don't need vinegar. I'm telling you. Because this year, there was a situation where I find a few, them butterfly. The butterfly come landing in the garden, landing on the cabbage. Then when I notice, I see a few of the worms them inside of there. But the birds eat them out. So if you're able to jar the birds to your garden, it will save you from have to use vinegar. Because the birds, remember, the birds in season like this, spring season, birds having babies. So by they having babies, they need food to feed their young ones. So the worms, the bugs, they come in right in your garden and pick them up and take them for. So that's my remedy right now. My remedy is creating an atmosphere for the birds, and they will clean your garden for you. Oh yes. Warm stick, yeah. Them goddamn thing and them so big is like, and they're so fat. That's the thing, man. They're like small snake. A piece of what? Yeah, sometimes you might be digging and you trying to be careful. Next thing you see a piece, they're wiggling up. But I do believe, even though you cut a piece of the, I don't think they die. I don't think I think they regenerate that piece. I don't think they die, for real. Them gags are, yeah, them boards ain't no joke, man. The boards was eaten by God. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You see, the boards was eaten by garden worms. Well, the ones that eating on your plants, trust me, you need them boards to get rid of them. Because these things will be small, small, small. And in the space of a day, they don't eat on your whole plant. Your whole plant is underground. Let me see. Fresh earthworm compost. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Guys, earthworm is very important in your garden. Very, very important. And if you try, yes, if you try to deal with your garden a certain way, I can't tell you guys how to grow your food. I can't tell you guys what to do. But what I do, I try to save my earthworms. So this is why I do not introduce these things in my garden, because what happens is they're gonna get rid of them, and by the earthworms scent, we might believe they're not scenting nothing. You're gonna drive them away. What they don't damage, what they don't get rid of, some gonna drive themselves away because they want organic matter. That's what they love. Leaf, break down leaf, break down rotten tree trunk, break down grass clippings out your garden that you pull out. These things are very important to earthworms. So you got to attract them, not run them away. You got to attract them in your garden. Yes, them hornworm, listen to me, they will tear down your plant, man, overnight. They will tear down your plant. Yes, they've been eating my tomato leaf. Yes, I saw a video for you where they was eating. Yes, where you find them. I saw a video for you, Fifi, where you find them. You know what? I take 8 off of one tomato tree. 8 of them off of one. And you know what's crazy? I pass all in the morning and I didn't see them. Well, I guess I wasn't looking. But in the evening when I'm passing back, I saw one. Then when I start sorting 8 of them, I take off that tree. Them thing ain't no joke, man. So the birds help eliminate these things out your garden. So attract the birds, create a little bird house, create a little area that they could come and land. Create, invite them, invite them in your garden. That gonna create a more environment of where you're not using chemical to get rid of them. You allowing nature to put in the work and nature doing what it's supposed to do. Mean the birds gonna come in and do its job, because the birds need these worms to take back to their babies. So invite them, create the atmosphere that they can enjoy. You know, don't you know? When I walk in my garden, the birds them don't fly. When I step in my garden, before they used to fly. Now, if I go in the garden, the bird don't fly. They land right there and doing what they're doing. Because, you know, we create that environment where they understand that I'm not bothering them. And why would I bother them when they're doing me such a huge favor? So invite the birds and it eliminate you from have to be spraying and trying to get rid of bugs. Okay? Let me see. Yes, I have to keep checking morning and evening. Oh, yes. Because if you don't, you wouldn't have a plan. How do you attract the worms but not the pill bugs with the organic matter? Well, what I know, what I know from my experience, I realize that earthworms love, that's what they strive from. They enjoy organic matter. That's what they love. You see what I'm saying? Now, you could have organic matter and you could have other thing mixed with organic matter. The way you see, we all do things different. So because we do things different, we're gonna get different result. What I attract, what from my experience, what I'm attracting in my garden is beneficial insect. That's what I'm attracting. Because I don't get root problem. I don't get situation where thing eating down my roots. I don't get those kind of situation. Yes, I might get a situation where a butterfly come and land in the garden and lay some eggs. I might get that kind of situation. But bugs that eating up the root of my plant and them thing, I don't get that. Why? Because what I'm in bringing into my garden is more attracting the beneficial pests, insect into my garden. So you say, how do you attract the worms but not the pill bugs with organic matter? What is the pill bugs? What is the pill bugs? When you consider as pill bugs, let me see. They are too full from fat. I hear that, right? Oh man. What are the green worms that look like handworms? What are the green worms that look like handworms? Wait, is it caterpillar? Let me see. Hold on, orgy living life. Let me see. They were small in the morning, but was showing out in the evening night. I think that's what happened. That's why I didn't see mine. Okay, so orgy living life asking, what are the green worms that look like hornworms? I'm not sure orgy living life. I'm not sure. I don't want to say something and it's not that. So I don't want to say, but is it caterpillar? Is anyone could answer the question for orgy living life? They were, yes, they grow fast. They are too full. You know what? I think I know the worms you're talking about. CC Texas garden. You say they roll up. I think I do see them in my compost. I think I do see them. The ones that roll up like a bar, like roll up like. I think I do see them. Roly poly bug. They roll up in bars when you touch them. I think I see them. I think I see them. Okay, probably cabbage worm. Okay. They call roly poly pill bugs. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to live in life. Let me see. I've never seen those worms in my area. I've heard about them. Okay. If it's worms, I think I saw them. Um, okay. Text. Sissy Texas Garden. It is worms, but they roll up like they roll up like. If it's that, I think I saw them. It's like an army green of brown, but they look like hornworms. Hold on. Wait, that worms you're talking about, I think that's the worm that love to eat tomatoes. I'm not sure the name of that one or the living life, but if you say it's more with the brown, I think it's the one that love tomatoes. Not sure. I'm thinking maybe it's the one that love to eat tomatoes and it kind of brownish. Okay, LPC roly poly look kind like armadillos. Okay, okay. Well, I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure if I saw that one. But I know for sure I saw a lot of earthworms everywhere. You dig, there's earthworms. The hornworm take up the color of the environment, so or maybe a hornworm. Okay, right, that could be it too. That could be it too. Because some of them switch to the color of the plants that they're in. That's why they're so hard to detect. If it's in a green, some of them switch like it's green. If it's brown, they switch to brown. So that could be the situation there too. Okay, oh, you see, they was on my citrus tree. And your citrus tree eating them leaf. Okay. This year, I think pillbugs have me troubled, and I believe it was largely because of the drought. I think they ate tender seedling for their moisture. You know what? Maybe you have a point there. Maybe you have a point. Because you say it's a drought and the water situation. Maybe you have a point there, LP. Wait, hornworm switch colors. Whoa. Some of them, you see, wild gardening, I've learned so much. And I've seen so much insects switch colors to their environments. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't want to say which, I don't, I'm the hornworms. I mostly see them green, but I also see there's a other type of worm similar, but they're more brownish. But you will find them on tomatoes. But I'm not seeing them like that now because them worms, them boards is really putting in the work, man. Okay, I know what roly poly are. My compost is full of roly poly. Okay, all right. Pillbugs are the sort of a key decomposer. They eat decayed material, but they will also eat living. Okay, all right, okay, all right. Sorry for that, guys. Yes, they eat poo. They eat poo. Okay, all right, sissy. I did a shot last year with a hardworm on my purple tomato, and yes, they adjust their color. Okay, so that's all right. All right. So Fifi said they adjust. I know a lot of them, lot of insect adjust to the which tree they into. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry for that, guys. Sorry for that. All right, so if you can, yes, they do turn. Yes, a lot of insect turn colors to the environment that's they in. So they hard to be detect. I think grasshopper also do that as well. I think grasshopper do that as well. If they're in a brown, they turn it into brown. If they're green, they turn into green. Help me, how to look like about this morning. Okay. Yes, I use compost and mulch, and my garden is full of roly poly. This was the first year. Many seedling also last spring. Okay, all right. Whoa, that's cool. If that I have to go see. Okay, the hornworm look alike. I know the pill bug well. Okay, we collect and feed them to pet. Okay, all right. Okay, planter. I like the way you sit. you like you like the way we say tomato? Sorry, guys, the internet went down as usual. Okay, Fifi, is this the link where you did the shots? Okay, guys, that's the link. I guess that's the warm. All right. Thank you, thank you. All right. Oh, yes, that's the link. Okay. All right, that's a link for Fifi with doing with a shots, I think, with the warm changing colors. Okay. The brown one is called tobacco hornworm. Or okay, all right. Thank you, Audrey Living Life. Okay, tobacco. Oh, okay. That's what I'm talking about. We all could learn something from each other. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. So, okay, guys. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. So, what's going on now? So, we were talking a lot now about gardening. So, what's going on with your garden at this moment? Is anyone want to share the boat? The boat gross me out. Okay. I know. I know. Is anyone want to share any kind of information about gardening today? If you feel like you could always come up and share something about your experience. Because over here, we're trying to get everybody to grow something. Just encourage people, motivate people, encourage them to grow something. I'm going to drop the link in case anyone want to ask question or they want to say something that, I don't know, maybe you might plan something for the first time. And all right, so the link is there. If you feel like no pressure coming up, you can always come up. Or if you have question, please, you could put it in the chat and I'll answer to the best of my ability. All right. Okay. Is anyone having vine borer issue? Seem like it's more prevalent this season. Yes, a couple of my pumpkin, I realize that is going on with a couple of my pumpkins. Not much, but a few of them. I realize it's happening to a few of my pumpkins. My garden experience this year has been very slow. Last year, my plants were full grown and already been harvested at this time. But this year, I've barely got anything from them. Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that, Psalms 146. But you know what, Psalms 146? This year was a very challenging year. I mean, my garden is doing really well right now. But like you mentioned, it's like I was a month back this year. Usually at this time, plants, pepper tree done over my head already, okra tree done grow up tall. But at this time, it's like I'm a month back because the weather was very challenging this year. So I believe that's why you having this situation at this time. But don't give up, keep growing, and I'm hoping next year or the fall can be better for you. Don't give up at all. Nothing right now. Everything died because I had to help. No help while I was going to wait for fall to plant again, but I might look for a fast growing plant. Or living life, I'm so sorry, and I'm glad you basically doing better. I'm glad, happy to hear that. And I just want to say thanks to you because, and I'm sorry what happened because we was doing the Herb Garden Challenge and you is a new gardener and you was really keeping up. You was really doing your thing. And then we I didn't see you for the last update. I didn't see you for the last update. So, but I'm still glad you here and you okay and you feeling better. And I'm just hope everything work out for you. But yes, this season, right now, you got to definitely look for a fast growing plants, one that can produce before you hit the frost. You might able to grow squash, you might able to grow cucumber, you have few stuff you could grow because the weather is still we're still in July. So we still have August, September, October, almost November, almost 4 months. You still have to grow stuff. But welcome back, and I'm glad you feeling better. And it's so sad that them plants had us because of the lack of help. Hope you feel better, and I appreciate you. All right? Oh, outside here. No, 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 no giving up at all. We're gonna try to encourage you as the best way we can. Please be in summer, Basika Hope. Yes, that's please. Okay. You still have a lot of stuff you can grow within this time. Well, that's if you feel better and able to do it. Wow. Mm. Let me see, bush beans, okay. Okay, so yes, like I was saying, when you look at we basically hitting the fall now. And for the fall, a lot of people try to grow food during the fall. And you have all right to. I will not tell no one not to grow food. No, no, no. Grow your food whenever you can. If you can grow through the fall, do it through the fall. My thing is, let me see. That's part of living life. Not always pleasant, but that's true. That's true. That's true. Yes, in the fall, I don't really grow much in the fall, but I make sure I grow as much as I can during the spring and the summer. The only thing I really plant in the fall is garlic. I don't really plant anything in the fall because that's my time of putting back into the soil. That's my time of putting back into the soil. Not, but I'm not telling you not to grow fall garden. No, you grow your fall garden. I'm talking about me. I plant enough during the spring and the summer that I can have enough to take me through the spring, through the winter, and even back to the spring for the following year. But my soil is so important to me that I take the fall and the winter to prepare the soil for the spring. So, because soil means a lot to me. And the way I do my soil, I got to add leaf, I got to add the tree trunk, them. These things got to break down. So I cannot wait for the spring to do that. I got to do that in the fall, and the winter, and just leave it and allow it to break down. So in the spring when I plant, my soil is already prepared and ready. So I don't want to tell anyone not to do fall garden. I will not do that. And please plant if you can. Can you plant ginger now? I have some that sprout. Ginger. Where we at now? July, August, September, October. No, I don't think it's enough time. You know what you can do? Maybe you could put them in a container. Yes. Put them in a container, and when the frost, before the frost, if you have space inside, bring them indoors in a warm little area and leave them. Maybe they're going to continue. Once they sprout, put them in container and let it do that time out there. And maybe if you have the space, you could bring them indoors and just see how it works. Who knows? You might be lucky. But once they sprout, I want to do that. I want to plant them in container and bring them in before the frost hit them. Okay? But planter your zone, you don't need to grow in the fall because you still harvesting abundant. That's the thing. That's the thing. And you're right. You're right, because I don't stop harvest until November. So you're right. I really don't need to plant anything because my harvest goes right down to November. So November, this is my job don't finish, because in November I start seedlings. I start to set like collard greens. I might set broccoli. Yes, what you can do, what I do, sorry for that, guys. I start setting seed in December, like November, December, like broccoli, spinach. These kind of seed, I will start them because I like to plant broccoli in January. I like to spark cauliflower in January. This is when I get good production. So straight out of the fall, walking, building the soil, start setting seed. So the job never finish. But you got to do what's work for you. This is the thing. I want to tell you what works for me. You got to do what works for you. Okay? I know some people deal with way colder weather than some. So you got to do accordingly. For what works for you, that's what you deal with. I would say, yes, I will definitely say container. I'm going hard every year. You're supposed to. You're supposed to. You're supposed to go hard. Leave my door, man. Okay, we're supposed to go hard every year. You're supposed to go harder every year. You're supposed to learn more every year. You're supposed to get better every year. You're not supposed to be the same stage just like you start 3, 4 years ago. The knowledge ain't increase. You still the same level. No, you're supposed to get better. That's why open up yourself to learning. Open up yourself to learn from your experience. Yes, I can tell you stuff, but you got to apply them to see how it works for you. You see? But there's one thing I'm going to say. I don't care where you live in. You could live in Russia. You could live in wherever. There's rules to growing food for great production. There's rules to growing food if you want great production. You cannot just plant them and leave them out there. You got to get out there on a daily basis and take care of these plants. You got to get up all in the morning and look at the plants so you see, because the plant's going to show you how they look in the morning. They're going to give you their true looks in the morning. In the middle of the day, they're going to give you a more, a more way like they're drooping. So when you come out and you look, you say, oh gosh, these plants look like they need something. But the thing is, you have to look at them in the morning or in the evening going down tonight when the sun is off of them. That's when you see the true looks of your plant. So don't go out there and just plant them and leave them because you're not going to get much from them. Yes, you might be able to get a few harvests, but you want more than just a few harvests. Your plant's supposed to produce right through once there's no frost. Once the frost is not there, they're supposed to be producing. Peppers supposed to be producing ongoing until the last frost. Okra supposed to be producing all through until the last frost. All these kind of plants should never stop producing. But of ways of doing that, there's secret of growing food. But you got to have an open mind and willing to learn. And you got to be focused. You cannot be distracted, because when you catch yourself distracted, anything, someone could just tell you something and you forget what you was doing and start focusing on what this person is telling you. Like for instance, my people try to distract me from how I grow my food. My people try to introduce me to product that I say I'm not interested into. So if you ain't focus and have discipline within yourself, people will distract you from what you stand for. You see what I'm saying? There's so many different ways you can grow food. So many different ways. But at the end of the day, do what's work for you. That's all I can tell you. Do what's work for you. But plants, there's a lot of tricks in gardening. There's a lot of ways of getting great production from your plants. And you ain't got to use no chemical to do that. You ain't got to use any form of chemical to do that. But anyhow, guys, I have an organic liquid fertilizer will be available pretty soon. This is an amazing product. It blends in with the environment. it will not harm any plant of yours. It will only add beneficial. Whatever it add, it will be beneficial to the plant and also for you. Because everything about this is organic. 100% organic. So stay tuned. I did a video showing the result of some peppers that I put it on. I put it around, I had 7 peppers. I put it around 2. And the 2 I put it around, different than they produce some huge pepper. You guys got to see the video. But this organic fertilizer is wonderful. Hold 1 second for me, guys. I'm here. Yes, guys. So I just want to see everybody with a beautiful garden. And if you're interested in growing your food with natural product, well, you at the right place. You at the right place. If that's not your goal, I don't know. You got to decide. But what I will say, you got to choose what type of gardening you want to do and follow that way of gardening. Follow the people who could guide you there. Because it's too much information out there. The truth is, a lot of people Googling information. Not many people actually do the work and show you the result. Not many people. It's only a few people that actually do the work and show you the result. Many people is Googling information. You see what I'm saying? Over here, what we do the work, we show you everything. We show you how we plan. We show you how we taking care of the plant. We do garden tour, showing you how the plants them going. Everything about the plants. We do harvest. We show you how we harvest. So we give you the breakdown of everything, and we showing you the breakdown of the process of everything. Because we want people to see result. It's not just about sitting down and talk about gardening. It's about the result. Because if you're telling me about product, you got to show me the result. You can't just sit down and telling me about a product, but you cannot show me the result. No. I as an organic gardener, and I grow food 100% organic. Any water I use, it got to be rainwater, which I don't wet my plants them unless the baby and the sun is hot. That's the only time I wet my plants. So I try to show, because I want people to see and learn. Not just talking, see and learn that you can use leaf, you can use tree body, you can use the grass clipping in your garden, the weeds you pull up, and you could transform them and they could break down and turn into real organic compost to feed your plant. That's what we do. We show that as well. So we are proof in what we're saying. But many people, so you got to be careful. I ain't say you got to listen to me. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you got to listen to me. What I'm saying is you got to be careful out there with information, because I'm going to show you many people using a certain product, but they do not shows you what the product is doing to their soil. They might show you, I use this and yes, my plants them shoot up big, but they're not going to tell you it's lack of nutrients. They're not going to tell you that, but what they're going to tell you, it look nice. They're not going to tell you how much it destroying their soil. No, because they're telling you about product they don't even know about. Here, this is natural product we're talking about. And at the end of the day, this product creates healthy organic plant. Don't take my word for it. Check out my channel, check out the videos. It will show it prove for itself. So don't take my word for it. Just check out the channel. This, wait, hold on. This, thank you, Fifi Johnny, I appreciate that. This video is where the super juice. This is the organic fertilizer. This will show you the result of putting it around 5 peppers, 7 peppers that plant the same day. And the 2 that the juice go around produce pepper way before. Don't have big, big pepper while the others is still trying to push out flowers. So that's it. And in the chat, you could always check that out. You know what I'm saying? So, right, exactly. There are many people telling you about product. They don't know what's inside it. They have no clue what's inside it. So information is good, but you got to be careful where you're getting information from, because some people, I'm not knocking anyone, I'm just saying, be careful where you get information from, because a lot of people Google information, and information from Google doesn't mean is facts. All it is, someone opinion. That's all it is. But when people showing you, we're not talking, we showing what we use and the result from what we're using, that's make a lot of sense. So yes, guys, we as an organic gardener, and we only use organic product. If you're interested, you could always stick around. I even have a gardening class going for the members only. If you really want to learn about growing food, organic, you could become a member and you could join the class, and I can break it down for you. How to really become a 100% organic gardener, where you only use product from nature itself and not something you go in and that you have no idea what's inside of it. So it's up to you guys. I cannot tell you what to do, how to grow your food. I only could show you what I do, how I do it with results. Okay? So yes, guys, thank you guys as always for coming out again. Truly appreciate you guys. Don't forget to tune in Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we're going to be talking about gardening. And when we're going to be talking about this Thursday, it's about gardening and the level you at. Because why I want to do this topic, I want to do this topic because I know there's new gardeners and there's advanced gardeners. So you got to know where you at, where you fit in. So we're going to break it down We're going to break it down, and then we're going to come up with ways for the new gardeners, and maybe chip in a few videos that can help you understand more of what we're talking about. But I got to say, thank you guys as always for coming through. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming through again today. Don't forget, I appreciate you guys. You guys have a, okay, shout out to Texas Lala, shout out to Fifi Johnny, shout out to my moderators, them, I appreciate you guys. Shout out to all the members, I appreciate you guys. And members, don't forget, this Sunday is garden class. So remember, you can always join, or the video will be there that you can look at. All right? So shout out to everyone. Fifi Johnny, Orgy Living Life, Texas Lala, Joan Stuart, Psalms 146, Sissy Texas Garden, LP. Everybody who come to today, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. And as always, peace, love, let me see, and blessing to each and every one of you. Thanks again, Planter, for all the information. Thank you, Fifi. I appreciate that. Thanks to everyone. And don't forget, guys, before you leave, hit the like button. We'll appreciate you. And Black Gun Gardening, thank you for coming to LP. Everyone who passed through tonight, you guys have a blessed and wonderful evening. I appreciate you guys. Stay gardening. Don't give up. Failure is not an option. Because when you fail or you make it an option, you're going to give up. But when you say no, it's not an option, you're going to get up and start again. So in life itself, don't make failure an option. In your garden, don't make failure an option. Once it ain't work, try again or try something else. All right? Good evening, everyone. Peace, love, and blessing to each and every one. Good night.